What is up, my fellow mobile gamers? In today's video, we have our tier list for the core abilities in One Punch Man. You ready? Ready? Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up this video, bam! We've only got 6 to go over, so this is going to be a fairly quick video. We do have to take note, though, that we're not just going over the core abilities basic effect, because once you do unlock the lab and you level up these core abilities, you will have access to advanced effects, and some of these are absolutely super duper broken, and some of them are kind of a little lackluster. First up, we have Justice Power. This is the very first core that you will start off with for all players. And it is a pretty good starting core ability. Grants 1 energy per turn, grants 1 extra point when an ally enters the berserk state, which can happen once per turn. One thing that I also want to mention is I'm kind of basing this tier list off of just all content. So I'm looking for stuff that you can use in PvE content, PvP content, as well as boss battles. Because there are some of these core abilities that are really good for boss battles, and then there's some that are strictly good for PvE content, but they're pretty much useless in boss battles. So we have to take a lot of that into consideration when kind of doing the tier list. I definitely say this is probably one of the harder tier lists to kind of rank these. We only have S, A, and B. And just a heads up, I didn't put any in the B category, but there is one that I'm going to mention that you possibly could put in the B, saying that it's like the worst, but you know, it still has some really good benefits to it. The advanced effect we have initially is increases ally attack by 10%, which is good. You always want to have more damage. At level 4, the advanced effect becomes when enemies burn, gain 1 energy, can only be triggered once per turn. So I think this is really amazing because with Justice Power, the Genus character, you're usually going to be having him with other burn characters, but more importantly, this is usually always going to trigger. So you're always going to have the berserk state go off, you're always going to have someone get burned. So pretty much you're going to be getting 3 energy per turn. That's really strong. Energy is so important in this game. You know, without energy, you can't use your ultimates. So I think at level 4, this is really strong core ability. Then at level 10, we have grants 100% DOT boost for allies. This is damage over time. Unfortunately, this is completely useless if you don't have any characters in your team who do damage over time. So this doesn't really help everyone out. This is very specific team building to really benefit from this. And at 17, increase ally attack by 15%. Very strong. All characters will get this bonus. Doesn't matter who they are, what they are. Everyone just gets extra damage. Initially, I'm putting the Justice Power core in the A tier list. I think it is definitely not broken. It's definitely not an S tier, not like one of the best, but it's definitely pretty strong. I will say, though, this is one that I potentially could put in the B area, saying that out of the 6 that we initially have for the American global servers, I think this is probably the worst out of all 6 of them. But you know, you could say it is in the A, you could put it in the A or the B. Moving on, we have Gene Power. This is one of my favorites. Grants 1 extra point when an ally recovers HP. Very simple to pull this off. Put the casual gear set on a teammate, and that basically means that every time they take an action, they heal up. So this can almost always trigger as long as you have someone in your lineup having that gear set. Advanced effect, whenever front row characters are defeated, a clone is summoned. Up to 2 clones can be summoned to each character position. This felt very useless to me whenever I use it. They pretty much, the clones come out and they just get one-shotted. So this is like, I mean, I understand it's like a body that takes a hit. But if your enemy has like AoE damage or something, it's, you know, it's kind of useless at that point. But I guess it could be good for single target damage to just take a hit instead of one of your main characters getting hit. Level 4, we have immediately grants 5 energy at the start of the second turn. This is so strong. This is giving you a huge burst of energy. along with the fact that you're also going to have the passive energy built up, 1 energy per turn and then 1 every time someone heals. So that second turn, you're going to have 7 energy just off of this alone, which is really, really strong. You're going to be able to get at least 3 ultimate abilities off. At level 10, heals all allies for 10% of their max HP at the end of each turn. I think this is amazing. This is just free AoE healing for your entire team. I mean, you can't beat that. It's not costing you any energy to do it. I mean, this is so strong. Definitely healing is very, very valuable. And then at 17, we have whenever front row character is defeated, clone is summoned. Up to 3 clones can be summoned to each character position. Again, I don't know. I didn't, maybe there's something I'm missing from this, but I feel like the clones are useless aside from they just take up 1 hit. But they just don't seem that good to me. I think this one, I would put it in the S, but you could definitely put it in the A. The thing is, this one right here is really strong. So like, I would either use the level 4 or the level 10. As far as I know, you pick one of these. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't unlocked the level 4 yet, but as far as I know, you don't get access to all of these in one shot. You basically have to choose one of these powers. So if you have like all of these unlocked, you have to choose which one you actually want as that advanced effect. You don't get all 4 benefits. If that's how I read it. If I'm wrong, then please let me know. Next up, we got Idle Power. This one is for Amai. Restores 6 energy when defeating an enemy character, can only be triggered once per battle. Now this one, we have a huge elephant in the room with this one, and that is the fact that this core ability is completely useless when we're doing boss battles. And because of that, I feel like even though I understand it's really good because you get that burst energy, regardless of what you think, I can't put this in the S. I can't put it in the S because this is something that we cannot even use for boss battles because we don't get any energy. The boss is gonna die and then that's it. The game, you know, the match is over. This is useless. I feel like it's not an S. For our advanced effects, your first character to take action each turn gains the Berserk effect, which is pretty strong. At level 4, grants 2 energy at the start of the battle. So again, you're gonna get some burst energy right there for 2. When any character is defeated, you gain 30% life steal rate until the end of battle. This can be extremely devastating. I mean, this has the potential to keep your characters alive, especially for PvP. And then for 17, your first character to take action each turn gains the Berserk effect, increasing power by 50%. Another one that this is absolutely amazing. It's just a shame that the basic effect only triggers when defeating an enemy, because this right here, gain the Berserk effect and then increase power by 50%. This would be so good for boss battles. And I'm sure people will argue with me and say, you know, you can still use this and just use this for certain builds, which I'm 100% aware of, that you can use this for like a boss battle. You won't get any energy, but this advanced effect is really strong and it would mostly be benefiting a lot of characters that would go off of like a basic attack build or something like that. So I understand like this has the potential, but I put this in the A tier list area. I just think I can't put it in the S because you just don't get any energy generation from boss battles. Moving on, we got Deep Sea Power. This is for Deep Sea King. Basic effect, when your character's block attacks gain 1 energy, can only be triggered 4 times per turn. So that has the potential to earn you 4 energy per turn. This is really strong. Increases your team's damage ref rate by 30%. So this is a damage reflection rate by 30%. So this is really good for your tanks. At level 4, at the start of each turn, seals 2 enemy energy. Seal 2 energy for 1 turn. When the same effect goes this, blah, blah, blah. Sealing the enemy's energy is very strong. Again, it stops them from really using their ultimate abilities. All ally characters are immune to 1 fatal attack when near death. I mean, this is like so good. It basically is giving them immunity to death. Very strong ability. And then finally we have increases your team's damage reflection rate by 40%. This one is a tough one. This one was kind of tough. It's really hard to put this in the S or the A. I put it in, and I initially put this in the A area only because it can be kind of hard to block the attacks. And that's pretty much it. It comes down to like, you can build this to trigger a lot, but it just feels like this can be really tough to trigger. But again, you could put this in the S. This is definitely like, this has the potential to be extremely broken. Moving on, we got Prodigy Power. This is from Child Emperor. Grants 2 energy when allies laying critical strikes, can only be triggered 4 times per battle. Now I really want to put an emphasis on this. The limit for this is per battle, which means you have the potential to generate that 2 energy 4 times in that one turn, because it isn't restricted to the turn. It's only restricted by the battle itself, giving you 8 energy in that first turn, which is pretty good. Really gives you a lot of burst to just pump out those ultimate abilities. And then an advanced feature grants 30% ultimate damage boost to allies in turn 1. So again, you really got to take advantage of this because it is only for turn 1. So you really want this to trigger on your first turn. So this is like, you basically want to destroy the enemy in the very first turn or within 2 turns to get the maximum benefits from this. Once the battle starts to go on longer, this is completely useless. At level 4, when enemies are in the shatter status, you immediately gain 1 energy, can only be triggered once per turn. Again, though, this gives you some really good passive energy generation if the battle does go over time, because again, you really only have that burst energy for your main. At level 10, increase crit damage and hit of ally characters by 30% at the start of the battle, last 2 turns. Very strong ability right here. I mean, you put out a ridiculous amount of damage based on this. And then at 17, grants 40% ultimate damage boost for allies in turn 1. 100%, I think the Prodigy Power is an S. Moving along, we have our final one, Bloodied Power. This is Mosquito Girl. Her basic effect grants 1 energy per turn, grants 3 energy points at the beginning of the second turn. So you're getting the 1 passive per turn, and then you're getting a burst of 3 on that second turn. Advanced effect at the beginning of the next turn revives a defeated ally with 60% HP. Now I'm kind of in between on whether this is really good or not. Initially, like, healing and revives can be very strong. But it really depends on the situation. If you're going up against someone who's already overpowering you, bringing someone back to life who just got one-shotted isn't going to do anything. They're just going to get one-shotted again. At level 4, we have when your character restores HP, immediately gain 1 energy, can only be triggered once per turn. Getting passive energy generation from that effect permanently grants 20% ultimate damage boost for allies. My problem with this is you have to go until turn 3 before you get that speed boost. And then our final one at level 17, at the beginning of the next turn, revives a defeated ally 90% HP. So this pretty much brings them almost all the way back to life, back from the dead. This, I think, is a lot better than the initial 60% because it just gives them more health. You have a better chance than them to actually survive the second time. I think Bloodied Power, I would put this in the A. I don't think this is broken at all. I think this is just a really strong core ability, but there are better ones. But that is it. That is our 6 core abilities we have currently in the game. This is our tier list. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. Have an amazing day. I'll see y'all later. Stay happy, stay safe. Peace.